Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Ben Chapman, and welcome to Smackdown, Episode 2 in the Rebranding of WWE. If you are new around here, please subscribe, as most of you are new. It's a brand new channel. If you like the video, make sure you hit the thumbs up and leave in the comments section below any ideas you have for potential booking. I'll be booking pretty much every weekend to book a week's worth of content. So keep that in mind whenever you make a suggestion. We kick Smackdown off, our first episode of Smackdown, by stealing one of the traits from real life, which they've done recently. And that is those opening little promos, hyping up what they are going to be doing during this show. Big E is going to be facing John Morrison, and he cuts a promo on how John Morrison tried to help The Miz win last week, and he's not having that. If John Morrison wants to get in the ring with him, he can get in the ring with him. Lince Dorado is a similar story with AJ Styles, because AJ Styles attacked him last week, and Lince Dorado is pretty much saying, I will face you. If you really wanted to, if you wanted to attack me, let's sanction it. Otis is calling out, has got a match against The Miz, who insulted Mandy Rose last week, and Otis is fighting on her honour, and Sonya Deville will be fighting Mandy Rose in tonight's main event of the evening. We're pretty much just continuing their feud. Lince was the weakest person in this segment, but we wouldn't really expect any other. And that is the match which we start off with. Lince Dorado versus AJ Styles in a non-title match, as, well, Lince hasn't really earned a title shot, so why would he have a title match? It's a non-title match just because AJ attacked him, and he defeats Lince Dorado in 12-4-2-1 with a spiral tap. Gets an 81 rating, which is pretty decent, to be honest. AJ Styles storms past an 88 in-ring performance compared to Lince's 61. And AJ has a groundswell of public support, but in the end, it was elementary. Styles was always going to be the winner here, and there was never really an argument about it, except it makes Lince good and gets him and Grand Metalik in the ring. The next segment of Nakamura and Cesaro jumping them in the ring. Coming through the crowd, which is again in Madison Square Garden tonight, similar to our first episode of Raw. They come out through the crowd and they jump Metalik and Dorado, completely just leave them laying in the middle of the ring. Hit the neutralizer and a Kinshasa on Dorado before Metalik jumps out the sky and gets caught with a European uppercut. That's pretty much how I see this segment going. It's an 87. Great performance. Next up, we see Bray Wyatt in the Firefly Funhouse. And he's going on about how nobody has seen Braun Strowman for 2 weeks. But nobody has seen Alexa Bliss since last week. What has he done with them? Who knows? But still, nobody is safe. Next week, he will claim anybody who is in his way from getting his Universal title back through sheer will. Anybody who tries to stop him getting his Universal title back next week will be destroyed. Gets an 86 rating. Next up, we get a singles match as Matt Riddle takes on Shorty G after Shorty G claimed the King's ransom last week. And Matt Riddle picks up win in 18 minutes and 27 seconds after King Corbin goes to hit Matt Riddle with his scepter, but Riddle ducks and he hits Corbin, and he hits Shorty G straight on the head, and Riddle locks in a guillotine choke to pick up the victory. It's a pretty fair match for these two. Riddle had a groundswell of public support, but it was a little too long, at 18 minutes. I think that's a bit ridiculous, to be honest. It's a 72 rating overall. Riddle looks comfortably in the Intercontinental title picture at the moment, with potential to move up and down based on how he goes against other wrestlers, because Shorty is a great wrestler, and will make other wrestlers look better. And after the match, in one of our weaker segments, Shorty G tells King Corbin that he needs to pay up. He did something for you, I did something for you. Now you fulfill your end of the bargain, and you give me the money that I'm owed. One more week, then I'm after you. Pretty much a threat to Corbin, who looks shocked at ringside. Because 46 is probably our lowest rating we've had in the series so far. Next, we're backstage with Nikki Cross when Naomi comes into shot. Nikki Cross is completely dazed over. But no one can tell if it's because she lost last week to Alexa Bliss, whether she lost to Alexa Bliss last week after the Fiend attack, or whether it's because she lost to Bayley and didn't get the Smackdown Women's Championship. But she is just completely glazed over, blocked off to the world. And Naomi tries to talk to her, tries to comfort her, but she gets nothing out of her. She's just staring into the middle distance. Gets an 82, which is a pretty good segment, and Nikki Cross is a star in this segment, which is always handy to know. Next up, we get Big E in his second week of singles competition, taking on John Morrison. And it goes very short. It doesn't go long. Maybe it goes one ad break before Big E picks Morrison up, hits the big ending, locked in the stretch muffler, and Morrison taps out. Big E, as a single star, has mileage. After the match, Big E goes to the camera and holds up 4 fingers, symbolising he has 4 weeks left solo. It's an 87 because Big E is so charismatic. It's honestly insane how charismatic that man is. We then see Otis and Mandy Rhodes training quickly, doing last minute warm-ups together backstage, when Tucker walks in, wishes them good luck, but he pulls Otis aside for a second and says that he's worried. He's worried that Otis is too focused on Mandy, and they're not focused on getting the tag team titles back, which Otis's response is, Miz is in a tag team. Miz is a tag team guy. How is this not focusing on? Obviously in a more Otis style of talking. It's an 82 overall. Groundswell of public support for Otis. And, well, I like the way they line up for that, to be honest. It kind of fits. And the match itself gets a 83 as Otis defeats The Miz in 9 minutes 25. In a superb match, apparently, when Otis hits the world's strongest slam on The Miz and leads in the middle of the ring for a 1, 2, 3. Because their matches were next to each other, neither Miz or Morrison were able to interfere in each other's matches, which I'm sure Otis and Big E are quite happy about, to be honest. And it gets an 83 rating for a good match, as I mentioned. We then go into our final segment of the show, and it's a 100 rating. Beautiful. And it's Jeff Hardy comes to the ring, and he's talking about how it's been a long time since he's held gold in the WWE. Last time he held singles gold was in 2018, over 2 years ago, and that was the United States Championship. So he is going to speak to management, because next week he wants a qualifier, and he wants to go to SummerSlam. for either the Intercontinental or the Universal Championship, but nobody knows where Braun Strowman is, so Intercontinental Championship. And he wants to qualify, and he wants to take on AJ Styles at SummerSlam. 100 rating. And the main event sees Mandy Rose lose to Sonya Deville with a modified go-go platter. It's a 70 rated segment, 70 rated match. They didn't seem to click, which, considering they're in a blood feud pretty much, is a little bit frustrating. It's a little annoying that they don't click, considering they're probably the feud really doesn't work with one match. We will make it work though, it seems. Overall though, what did we get for this show? We got an 82, slightly worse than Raw, but not too bad considering how few of our top guys are actually on this show. If you think about it, Braun wasn't actually on the show, he was just spoken about. Bayley and Sasha weren't on the show. Daniel Bryan wasn't on the show. Sheamus wasn't on the show. That's a lot of people who weren't on the show. And yet we still managed to get an 82 rating. Probably the biggest star we had on this show is Jeff Hardy. And to be honest, I'm quite happy with that rating then, considering. I've been Ben Chapman. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and bye!